Okay, this one's from John Frag. He has the question: what idea do you have for a next Star Wars show? He says, my idea is centered around the original trilogy heroes and explained what happened to them between episode 6 and the sequel trilogy. I'll go off of your thoughts first and I'll go to mine. If we're getting the alternate universe that I think they're kind of pushing with the Mandoverse, that's what they're calling it, by the way, the Mandoverse. If we're getting that alternate universe to the sequels, then yes, I would like to see that. I'd like to see. We already got kind of like a younger Han, and we just got like a young Leia. But it'd be cool to see like a teenage Leia. You know, what's her name? Millie Bobby Brown, the 11 from Stranger Things. She kind of looks like a young Padme and a young Leia. Like she's like the combination of both of them, which is really interesting. I think if they wanted to do like a Disney Plus show with a like teenage Leia, she'd be perfect for that role. And they kind of technically she was 19 in New Hope, but they could do like a 15 or 16-year-old with her, I think. So yeah, that'd be great. I think that'd be cool to see. And then Luke, I don't think needs anything else done to him. I think Luke, if we're doing Luke, we could do a post episode 6 thing. You know, then again, now that I mention it, see, Millie is still young. I don't know how old she is, but she still looks young, right? But she might be like 18 or 19 now, so she could probably pull off like a 20. So hard to say. Okay, so the thing is, Leia's 19 in episode 4, right? And then episode 6, she's like 20, 22-ish, 23? It's 4 years later, right? Or is it 5 years? I forget. It's 4 or 5 years. She's 23, 24. I personally can't see episode 4 Leia being like younger than Millie. Not yet. Maybe like in a few more years. Maybe we can do like a, the teenage years. We'll have like I shouldn't say teenage, a young adult years. So we'll have like 25-year-old Luke, 25-year-old Leia, and then we could also do like a 35-year-old Han, kind of adventuring and doing their thing. And the actor who plays Han could actually play younger Han. You know, who plays Han in Solo. I forget his name. I liked him as Han. I think he played a very good young Han. So maybe in like another like 5 years, he can do like a 35-year-old Han. It's just like very weird. I think the thing is, and this might just be me, but for some reason, people in the past looked so much older than people now. Is that just me? Like look at, not as much Mark Hamill back then, but like look at like Carrie. So she was 19 when she played she was around that when she played 19-year-old Leia, but she looks so much older than that. And Han's supposed to be 30 in that. I think that's fine. He actually looks like he could be like 35 or whatever. I mean, even just looking back, like personally, like looking at my parents, looking at them when they were like 25, they look like they were like 35 in my brain, you know? I don't know. That just might just be me, but I just think it's one of those things to like, to consider when you're doing like, you're going back in time almost. So if we're going back in time, we're going to have like another actor play Luke. We're going to have another actress play Leia. Like I said, Millie would be great for a Leia role. Another character play Han. It would be interesting to see what's going on with them, especially if they continued on the path they were supposed to continue on before the sequels came in and messed them up. You know what I mean? I'd like to see those stories that were explored in the Legends kind of brought back into the canon as a separate universe. You could do the whole Thrawn trilogy. You know what I mean? You could even do later on. You could also do the other trilogy with the kids, Jason Solo and Jaina Solo and Anakin Solo. I kind of remember there being one Anakin Solo, and then there was a Ben Skywalker. You could do that. You could do those things. You know, if you embrace the multiverse situation. So Marvel has already kind of introduced the idea of a multiverse to people and to not just fans, but to like basic watchers. You know, they've already introduced it. They've done the work. So I think if Star Wars wants to kind of piggyback off that idea of the multiverse, doing it separately, obviously, and not actually doing like a multiverse, but doing like a separate timeline or whatever, if they do it right, it could be done well. And I think it'd be cool to see the Legends kind of brought back as canon, just bring in different actors. You know, love Mark, love Harrison. You know, I love all of them, but maybe it's just time to let those actors move on. They did their work. Now it's time for them to leave, and we bring in new actors to play those characters, or And this is something that I would personally say, I would suggest even, just pick up in a different timeline. Not a different timeline, but pick up in a different time. You know, do another story with new characters. I guess if I was personally writing a show, I'd probably want a clean slate, right? So like this comes back to the original question: what show would I want to do? I would do a clean slate, um, either 200 years in the future or, you know, 1,000 years in the past, old Republic times or whatever. I'd probably do like future stuff though, because you can kind of like get away from more stuff. I'll do future, maybe 500 years in the future, and I just go pick up from there and just maybe follow a character who finds out he's force sensitive, and you know, there's a new thing of the Jedi and new villains. There's an enemy out in the galaxy, or not in this galaxy, but an enemy from like another galaxy. Bring in like the Yuzang Vong in some way, redo them kind of a way to make them more consumable for people. Something like that. I think that that's what the sequel trilogy needed. The sequel trilogy needed that next step, but instead we got Empire 2.0. And that, well, it wasn't even really Empire 2.0. It was more like Empire Light. You know, we got that. What we really needed was something big. We needed that next big threat. And that's what the Yuzang Vong, if they would have gone that way, would have been so much better of a threat. Just that next step. Something we've never seen before. And the sequels didn't really do that. So if I could write my own movie / show, it would be its own universe. Well, it would be like in a different time we haven't seen, or a time that's like reminiscent but not like the same, obviously. New characters, new villain, new plot, new story. Like that's what I would personally do. But what would you guys do? Let me know in the comments below. And would you like to see that? Would you like to see something like a Yuzang Vong? If you know what that is, they were like these invaders from another galaxy that effectively attacked the Star Wars galaxy, and it was this big thing. Would you like to see that introduced, or something like that concept in a future Star Wars story? Or are you kind of glad they don't do that? Let me know. Comments below. That's a good conversation piece. That could be a video by itself, honestly.